evening. It's Wednesday. It's 7:30. This is Logical Wellness, and I am Camille Jones of CEJ Images, your host for this evening and every Wednesday evening. Thank you, IG, for tuning in. Appreciate you every week. IG, y'all are with me all the time. ChitChatRadio410.com. Y'all are always here as well. Pick us up on any of your streaming networks or, of course, our website, ChitChatRadio410.com. So we got to get into it as we do every Wednesday because the information I give to you hopefully sounds like logic that you can take pieces of and connect to your own state of wellness. I have a mission of global wellness. Vita Hair Growth, good to see you. Been a minute. I have a mission for global wellness. And what I mean by that is I have a desire for the world to understand how easy it is for us to be and stay well. And it's very easy. Many of us have been conditioned and programmed out of the idea that we were birthed into wellness as a birthright. Yet we give that knowledge, which is our power, away to other humans that don't have the power to even create us. So each week I pick issues that we all can use the same information to go and connect the dots that are needed. Now, as always, I have disclaimers. I'm not a physician, y'all. I'm not a doctor. Don't want to be. Have much respect for them, but that is not my desire. I am a holistic practitioner that specializes in what's called lymphatic frequency detox, or in essence, an electrical reset of your lymph system. As a holistic provider, we heal, physicians treat. I prefer to do the healing side, or even better, I prefer to put your body in a state where it heals itself, like we were meant to. So we're going to talk about something big tonight, and y'all know how the social media tyrants get when I speak about education. So there may be some buffering. They may actually cut me off. But if you are somebody who's with me every week, you know I don't care. And you know the more they shut me down, the louder I talk. So let's get into it, okay? New people, thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening. I do not have a filter. That is intentional. I do not ever mean to be offensive to anybody. However, I do mean to catch your attention. And sometimes in order to catch people's attention, you have to say things that makes them feel uncomfortable. Lovely bird, good evening to you too. Sometimes we have to be uncomfortable in order to move. Isn't that what we were told back in the day? In order to progress, you have to move out of where you are. Period. So all I do is try to say it in a way that doesn't allow you to miss it. And we're going to talk about something big tonight. And okay, let's get into it. So we are going to talk about words. And we're going to talk about one particular word today because I ran across something on IG and it was very interesting what I heard. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go back to words, right? Because we in America, particularly, y'all, are scared of words. Like, what is wrong with us? You say a particular word, and right now there are two running that both that start with C. Y'all are terrified. You're terrified of two words that you don't understand. And all healing needs is an understanding. That's it. That's all. So I saw something on IG today, and I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to talk about. So my girl Glow with Gina posted something interesting, and she posted something that read, chemo is a carcinogen. So we are going to talk about carcinogens tonight. We're going to talk about the definition. We're going to talk about how our bodies can affect carcinogens. And we're going to talk about the necessity of us not being afraid of a word, in order to get us to a state of wellness. You all know that I'm a lymphatic expert. So everything I say comes from my background of resetting people's lymph system and seeing the results of what happens when you reset people's lymph systems. So I don't speak from things I read, I speak from things I see. I speak from things that my clients experience every single day. So there aren't going to be anything that I hear that's going to take me away from what I actually freaking see. And I have a brain just like the rest of you. But I need you all to attach to how important that is to be able to say. So what I read was chemo is a carcinogen. And of course it is. Absolutely it is. But I'm going to lay this with you and then I'm going to backtrack and explain why I said it. Listen to what I'm about to say to you. Every man-made everything is a carcinogen. Ooh, some of y'all ain't ready for I'm about to what to tell you. Some of y'all are so you're so tied by fear, you can't see hope. And that is a really, really, really scary place to be. So my goal is to give you enough information so that you stop being scared. Because many of y'all are scared out of logic. Many of y'all are sick because you're not using logic. Many of y'all are sick because you're not using logic to ask questions. Many of y'all are sick because you choose to Google how to freaking twerk than how the body actually works. So I'm going to help explain that to you, right? I want you to get out of your state of fear. And we are going to run this carcinogen track together so that you all understand what I mean when I say everything man-made is a carcinogen. Yeah, I know. Some of y'all are like, Camille, what in the hell are you talking about? So we have to go back to the lymph system and we have to go back to the function of the body. We have to go back to the same thing that I repeat almost every single week. And I want y'all to really, really, really listen to what I'm saying, because many of y'all have family members that you're going to be able to save if you get them to simply understand logic. That's it. That's a promise. I know it. I see it. All you got to do is use it. But we're too comfortable not using it. We're too comfortable being told by people and entities about things that the only person in the world would know is you. That's it. And that's a power. You being connected to your brain and your body and being able to read what your body is telling you and then learning how to affect it is powerful. So why do you think they try to kill your brain every day by repeating the same toxic shit over and over and over and over and over? Because if you're not using your brain, it's atrophying. And like a muscle, it becomes weak. That's what atrophy is. If you're not using it, and what I mean by that is if you're not using it to connect dots, your brain is not being used. If you are comfortable being told pieces of information that clearly contradict themselves every time it's repeated, and you don't ask why, your brain is atrophying. And why is that dangerous for you? Because if your brain atrophies, it's not signaling the body. And if the body's not being signaled, it's not functioning. And they call that disease. So I want you to first of all, not be afraid of disease. We're going to go into the definition of some of the things that terrify y'all, right? So we're going to start at the end and go backwards so that we can connect things together, right? And you all see exactly what I'm talking about, and then words stop scaring you. Yeah? Words cast spells. So what type of words are you allowing to affect your brain, to affect your body? That's not a conspiracy theorist up in the clouds freaking description. That's logic. That's common sense, which I know right now is really, really not common, like not at all. So we are going to start at words, and we are going to read the description of words. And then we are going to connect those words to the function or malfunction of the body. So as a holistic practitioner, our idea is to heal the whole. You can't fix a part of a car and not worry about the rest of the car that's connected to the part you're trying to fix if the whole car works together. An engine is where? On the inside of a car. Our engine is on the inside of the body. So if we want this one unit to function in the way it was created to function, we cannot cut it. We can't remove shit from it. We cannot fix it without affecting what affects the body, which is the head. We have gotten to a point in this world where we are programmed to actually believe that you can fix a body without thinking about the head. That's the dumbest shit in the world. Why would we even think that? The brain is in the head. The eyes are in the head. The nose is in the head. The mouth is in the head. The ears are in the head. All of these things surround the one brain that we have that all feeds the body. The skull sits on the cervical spine, which sits on the lumbar spine. But many of y'all are concerned about your lower back. For what? It's controlled by the head. If the head is heavy, it compresses the cervical spine, which compresses the lumbar spine, which causes pain. So if you are looking to affect a symptom in a one unit body, why do you cut it to try and figure out what's happening? Why do you not start at the top of that entity? The body is not separate from the head. The body can't do anything without a signal from the head. It cannot walk. It cannot digest food. The blood can't flow. The bones can't get the minerals that they need. The tissues cannot get the oxygen that they need from the lymphs without starting at the top of the freaking unit. It is one unit. Logically, you cannot allow the body to heal if you're not starting at the beginning. But that is the quintessential focus of our healthcare system. So when I say that our healthcare system is not logical, it's not logical. But that's detrimental to us because the brain is logical. The brain has to function in logical synapses, or otherwise it's chaotic rewiring. But chaotic rewiring in the brain sends chaos to the body, which means the body can't function. Period. So we have to start there, right? And then I remind you of this. Humans cannot make humans. We can make robots, we can make clones, but we can't recreate the original. We can't, because it is impossible for a human to understand the natural function of a human body. Why? Because every function on the body was created to function internally. Any foreign entity or disruption, including surgery, cameras, tubes, all of those change the natural function of the body. So there is literally no way for a human to understand the natural function of the creation of the body. We're guessing. That's what experiments and science are for. We're guessing because we're trying to figure it out, because we're trying to be that God entity that created us, and we can't. So when I say we have to start at the logic of that, We have to take all of what we do with a grain of salt and under the assumption that whatever we're going to get from another human is a guess. The only thing that's going to be 100% right for you is the signaling of your body, is the symptoms or lack thereof in your body that your body is expressing to you. That is literally the only thing on earth that is going to be right for you. Humans are never going to be right because we don't know. We don't know. And that is not to speak down against the practice of medicine. That is not it at all. But medicine is not meant to keep us in a state of wellness. It was created for practice and meds and surgery. So I have to remind you of that before we start talking about these things that we call diseases and these words that they use to categorize what they think is happening in the body. You do know that, right? They're thinking it and guessing it based on books that were written 200 years ago that don't have anything to do with healing. Rockefeller did not create the AMA to heal. That's not for people to be offended about. It's a statement of fact. He created it for profit so that he could control and get money from the prescribing of meds and surgery, and to make medical school very expensive so that it is considered an elitist career. It doesn't mean that doctors don't have a desire to help, but their training didn't. What they learned was not created to heal us. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it. We were not meant to live in hospitals, right? We were only meant to go to the doctor when we were sick. Now we've been programmed to think that a person who has no idea can actually tell us that whether we're sick or not. Nope. That's only you. You're the only one who can do that. So when we talk about the function in this body, we were given a system, one whose design is to run nonstop in the body in a circular fashion, keeping the body and its organs and its function balanced at all times. There is something absolutely crucial about balance. And I'm using this word because when we get into other words and other diseases, you understand what I'm saying, right? So Lisa, good to see you. Hey, love. So when we're talking about the function of the body, and I'm going to be as general in this sense as I can so that I can get into the actual focus of the show. When we talk about the regular function of the body, inside of the body, right, we are electricity, synapses, electrical synapses that fire in between the cells, right? Those synapses vibrate as a way of function. They're vibrational synapses, right? That's the way the cells speak to each other, through synapses. However, the body's energy is then surrounded by water, mineral-filled salt water. Minerals equals the salt, right? Which is why Himalayan salt works to heal the body like it does. So that water is called your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is a waterway that carries minerals and oxygen to the tissues and cells in your body. Without the flow of that water, cells begin to die, because in order for cells to turn over, they need their minerals and oxygen and a way to detox, which is the cellular turnover. So if we are energy on the inside, surrounded by salt water, you can imagine how perfect and intense that balance of water and electricity needs to be in order for us to not short circuit, right? And for those of you all who don't understand the energy thing, that's what an EKG is, right? When they give you an EKG, what they're reading is the vibrational energy in your electricity in the body. And then when they give ultrasounds, they give women, men, all that ultrasound. What they are then measuring is the water and the frequency and the movement or the non-movement of that water. In perfect balance mode, we don't need to worry about the lymphs at all, because like the ocean, as long as those lymphs, as long as that water is flowing, the process of lymphatic water is automatic, right? All it needs is that movement and the minerals to keep the water flowing through the blood, the tissues, the organs, the bones, everywhere in the body. That's the lymph system's design, is to make sure that there are not molecular sized toxins that are moving into the cells. If you are feeding your body what it needs every single day, and you are making sure that you are giving your body enough movement to flow your water, your body is taken care of automatically by that perfection in the water system that man cannot create. In general terms, right? That's how the body, that is how the body actually functions. Cells in the body, and I need y'all to remember this, okay? If you don't take anything else away from what I'm about to say tonight, I need you to listen to me right now. Cells in the body, all of them, all of them, all of them, all of them, are supposed to turn over or divide and create new cells every 28 to 90 days. That functionality requires that the lymph system is feeding those cells what they need in oxygen and water and detox in order to turn over or divide a healthy cell. Meaning the lymphs have done their job and pulled all of these toxins and gotten them out through the waterways in the body, right? Urination, menses, crying, sweat, feces. All of those are part of the lymphatic detox. So in perfection, in the body's created way, the water in the lymphs need to flow so that they continue to carry the oxygen and minerals to the cells in order for the cells to turn over healthy cells. That is the circular pattern. Yeah. So if you understand that, and we'll talk about this next week if you want to, if you understand that, you understand that there is no such thing as aging. There is no such thing as aging. Cells in their perfect function are never older than 3 freaking months. What we see as aging is stagnation in the functionality of that water, allowing cells to divide in toxicity instead of in detox. Tayden, I was looking for you, Tayden. Y'all, he's my sweetie. Tayden, you're 14 now, I think. You're the best. I'm coming to see you at some point. So I need you all just to remember that oxygen does not flow in the body by itself, y'all. It's taken to the cells in the lymph water. That is the importance of the lymphatic system. And what is important for you to understand about that is that's the only thing you need to worry about. Because if the lymphs are doing your job, there is no such thing as disease in the body. Period. Point blank, period. It is that simple. Because we are human and we're stupid, the body was put together so that all we needed to do is understand the general functionality, be able to give the body what it needs, and the body functions on its own in automatic process. My husband just joined. Hi, husband. He's upstairs, but I get excited that he's on. So once we get that, right? Once you get that basic function, yeah, that we were given the functionality of wellness. Wellness is a function. Wellness is a function of the balance of the body. But if you understand how easy it is to get that function to work, then you don't have to worry about illness, sickness, disease. You never worry about it at all, because you don't need to. Okay. So before I go into this next part and these descriptions, I need you all to be there with me. I need you to start there. I need you to start there and understand that man cannot create man, that the function of the body was put inside of the body and then sealed for a reason, because the balance of the body is its own balance if it is fed what it needs. And when I say fed what it needs, remember, the lymph system is a waterway. It's water. Every molecule that goes into the body through lymphatic water and is either fed or detoxed in or out. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to remember. So in saying that, let us go to this thing that they call disease and words. Because remember what I just said to you. In the body's balance, if the body's water is balanced on top of its electricity, that flow of the water moves automatically 24/7, 365 days a year without us doing anything except feeding it what it needs. But the process is molecular in water, which means that the molecules in that water have to be nanoparticulate in size. Up until recently, humans could not make particles that were nanoparticulate in size. They have now begun to figure out how to do that. And that, for all of y'all, is dangerous as hell. The mRNA, that they have figured out how to make that nanoparticular in size, which means they have created computer programs that change your cellular function that now can be injected into your water. And what did I just say? The water of your lymphs feeds everything, particularly the cells and the tissues. So this lymph water travels the entire body, but you know where it starts? In the head. Duh. Everything starts in the head. Don't forget that, y'all. You're not walking around here like the headless horseman. We have heads. And if you want to go back and read that story, okay? The headless horseman, and read all the ironies in that story. But we have a head. The lymph system starts in the head, but it's water. So all of the molecules that we put into the body, if they are not nanoparticulate in size, guess what they do? They create a backup or a dam in the lymph water in the body. When there is a backup of lymph water in the body, that water settles and begins to heat and mixes with the natural mucus in the body and creates what? Inflammation. That's what they call inflammation. Inflammation is simply a stagnation of the lymph water in the body. I'm trying to make this as easy as I can for y'all because it's easy. So when they talk inflammation, inflammation is only a stagnation of the water system, right? So if you know that, then you should be hell of excited to know that all you need to do a lot of the times is shake up the water and feed it the minerals it needs for that dam to be broken and that automatic cycle to function again. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. It's inflammation. Every single disease, and you know I'm a Sebi follower. Sebi wasn't stupid, which is why he's not here. He was exactly right. There is no such thing as disease. It is only inflammation. And now doctors are actually having to look at inflammation because they weren't taught it. My parents been physicians for 40 years. My mom will tell you when they were in med school, they didn't learn about inflammation or the lymphs or nutrition. Some of these new docs are just getting that information now. And because it's new, they don't know about it. But now, if you listen, all of these diseases come with a description of inflammation, all of them. And I need y'all to understand this. Stop letting them tell you that you need to get rid of mucus in the body, y'all. What do you think carries the lymph water and lets it slide through the tissues? Mucus. Mucus lines your skin underneath the entire way. When you cut yourself and you see the white pus, that's mucus, but that is designed to keep things moving, carrying the lymph water in the body. What you need to do is keep the mucus thin enough to move. What keeps the mucus thin enough? The oxygen from the lymph water, which is why you have to feed your lymphs water. People who don't like water, y'all don't like water. You don't like water because your body has now had to function at a level of dehydration. So you're already sick without knowing you're sick because you don't give the body your fuel it needs to even function, right? You don't even give the body what it needs. So let's get into this. Oh, it's 8 already. So let's get into this, what I said I was going to start with. So starting with the word carcinogen, I need you all to be in a state now where the only time you really Google some information is to really Google multiple sources and use your brain to connect dots. Break down what you read until it makes sense to you. Don't just read it and absorb it because somebody's telling it to you. What did I tell you last time that makes you a slave? Yeah, we need to use the brain. You know that's what gets us out of any type of slavery to whatever we may be slave to, is simply using your brain. It's called exercise, right? Use the brain, ask questions, connect dots with information. So we're going to go to, and I'm going to do this because remember, I like to show you what I want you to do. I'm not going to just talk to you. I'm going to show you, right? So for those of you who just joined, I wanted to talk about words tonight because one of my girls posted on IG that chemo is a carcinogen. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. But if we understand the function of the body, everything man-made is a carcinogen. Yeah? Yeah. So we have to go into the word carcinogen. And what do I always say to y'all? If there isn't information in the definition that gives you a cause, they cannot give you an answer on how to fix it. It's not logical. Remember, if we're running a 10K, yet I don't know where the 10K starts, how in the hell do I know where the 10K ends? I don't. That's the same thing that happens with this powerhouse we call a body. If they or I or any of my affiliates, if we can't start you at the starting line, then we can't give you a finish line, which means we have to go out to the original source of healing, which is the actual body. So I'm going to read the definition of carcinogen. Okay, I'm going to read this to y'all because I want y'all to work this with me. A carcinogen, and I'm going to break the definition down, right? A carcinogen, and remember what I said before I read this, everything man-made is a carcinogen because man cannot make nanoparticles small enough to function the lymph water in the body. Everything stagnates it. So I say that everything man-made, because we're natural, everything man-made is a carcinogen, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have the CANCER word. That doesn't mean that. It means that everything man-made stagnates the function of the lymph water, which means in order for us to stay well, our focus always needs to be on how we get our water to flow, not worrying about what their stupid words say. So a carcinogen, right, is a substance, organism, or agent capable of causing cancer. So you tell me what cause that just answered for you. Because for me, that told me absolutely freaking nothing. A carcinogen is a substance, organism, or agent capable of causing cancer. Carcinogens may occur naturally, wrong, in the environment, such as UV rays in sunlight and certain viruses, or may be generated by humans, such as automobile exhaust fumes and cigarette smoke. So again, I ask you, in that description, what was described as the cause? Nothing. Because what I just read is it could be human, it could be a substance, it could be an organism, it could be anything. And I will say this, logically, the cause of disease cannot be environmental and genetic. They can't. So if it's environmental, it's not genetic, right? Because what causes what? If you go into this definition, they don't know and they don't give you a cause. And if you don't have a cause in a description of a word, you shouldn't let that word scare you. That's my point. They tell you that a carcinogen, I don't know, is some sort of substance. I don't know, maybe it's an organism. Oh, or maybe just another agent. Or I don't know, maybe it's the UV rays. Oh, maybe it's a virus, or maybe it's the environment. I don't know. Well, then why in the hell are we afraid of a definition that tells us absolutely nothing? Nothing, nothing, nothing. So then I want you to break down the definition. So if they say that a carcinogen is a substance, organism, or agent capable of causing cancer, then let's go in and look at the definition of cancer, right? So according to your favorite Google, that disease, cancer, is a disease caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells in a part of the body. So that described what for me? Nothing. Again, absolutely no point of origin, no cause, no nothing. It's just some disease that is caused by some uncontrolled division of abnormal cells in a part of a body. So that's a description of a symptom, right? But what is the origin? They don't know, which means if they don't know the origin, they cannot, y'all, give you the solution. So you cannot be afraid of these words that they're giving you. So let me explain, based on what I just told you, let me explain the origin of the word that they call cancer. I just said to you that in order for cells to turn over clean into healthy cells, what needs to be happening? The lymph water in your body, which the lymph water in your body runs along the veins and the capillaries and pulls out all of the molecules that are toxic to the body, and then dumps them into large trash cans that we call lymph nodes. And those lymph nodes then dump into excretory ways in the body. If the waterways of the lymphs are toxic and stagnant, meaning they're moving slow, instead of the toxic molecules being flushed through the excretory ways, they are dumping into trash cans that are overflowing. And those overflowing trash cans are overflowing what? The toxins that the lymph water is supposed to be removing. When those trash cans dump into and over into the cells and the tissues, it is those cells that they're talking about that are abnormally dividing into more toxic cells. So using logic, what does that mean? You don't have to worry about the cancer if your lymph system is doing what it was meant to do in the first place, which is why people who go vegan, not vegan, people who go raw, when they are diagnosed with that, then go back to the doctor and they're no longer diagnosed with it. Why? Because the minerals in a raw diet feed the mineral lymph water in your body, thinning the mucus, stimulating oxygen flow through the waters in the lymphs, allowing the toxins to go into the trash cans and dump out of the body like the body was created to do. There is no toxic division of cells if the lymph system is doing its job. Period. Point blank, period. period, which is why it is a true statement that there is no such thing as disease. But let's go that far, right? So if cancer is a disease caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells, it doesn't say uncontrolled division of abnormal cells that are caused by, it doesn't say that. It just says uncontrolled division of abnormal cells. Well, tell me from what? Because you can't help me if you can't tell me what caused that abnormal division of cells. I just told you what creates that unhealthy division of cells, right? So you have to, thank you, MJ, period. Appreciate it. So if their description of cancer is simply a description of the symptom that they see, then why does that word scare you? Why does that word scare you? It shouldn't. If you understand what causes what they call a disease or the cancer, right? Why are you afraid of it? If they can't even break down the cause of the problem, you can guarantee yourself 500 million% that they can't fix it. Hence, chemo is carcinogenic because they're affecting, they have no idea what they're affecting. They don't know what the cause is. So if they don't know what the cause is, that CHEMO is simply an experiment, which is why people get sick after they start that. Because let's see what that is. If I'm saying to you that the lymph system stagnation is what caused the overflow of the toxins into the cells in the first place, that means your lymph system isn't functioning 100%. But CHEMO is so toxic to your system, which is already stagnant. What do you think that's doing? It is cutting down even more the function of your lymphs, which is why you get sick and eventually some people die. Because the symptom in the beginning was lymph stagnation, but you then can't go radiate a lymph system that was stagnant in the first place and expect it to reset and work. The only thing you can actually do is reset the electricity in your body, which stimulates lymph water, which stimulates the natural function of that detox, allowing your body to never have toxic cells, because the lymph system is the system that detoxes the cells. So stop being afraid of words that don't give you a description. All they are is words. And if they say that cancer is a disease, let's look at the definition of disease. And this is what I need y'all to do to work the brain, right? We're working the brain now. We're asking questions. We're putting things together, or we're not, right? Because in order for the body to be well and balanced, the brain has to be well first. You cannot feed conflict from the brain to the body and expect the body not to be in chaos. So if we look at the definition of disease, Jesus, y'all, the answer is in the first sentence. They describe disease as a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant. Well, Jesus, finally they gave you the answer. A disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, plant, or animal in nature. So you can understand that if a disease is a disorder of structure, then you can say in that same sentence that in function or in natural structure, there is no disease. And what is natural function and structure? It is the flow of the lymph water into and around the body. Into and around the body, feeding oxygen and minerals, detoxing the cells so that the cells turn over healthy cells and not toxic ones. Stop being afraid of words that are only 200 years old, right? And created by man who cannot create us. So we have to use logic because the body functions logically. That's why we were given a brain with synapses. Those are logical functions. Cells communicate through logical synapses. But if those synapses are firing in 6 gazillion different directions, then you know what's being sent to your body? Chaos or malfunction of structure, which means your natural structure of being well now is out of order, and they call that disease. So the great thing for you is all you have to do is get your body back in order so it is absent of disease. And what does that mean? You get your body back in function. You get it back in order. You get it back in structure. And how was your body structured? It was structured through the functionality of the lymph system. It is functioned by the movement of your water. We are natural beings. Without the sun and the moon, there is no function of the sea. There is sediment in the sea and in the oceans, which causes the phytoplankton to not create the oxygen that we need to breathe. We are nature. The ocean has to move to breathe. We have to move to breathe. The ocean is 0.4% sodium chloride. We are 0.4% sodium chloride. We are nature. We have to function in nature. We have to eat it. So when I say that we are nature like that, I am dead serious when I say everything man-made is a carcinogen. But who cares? Because the body's function is so perfect that if it's moving in the way it needs to move, nobody cares about a carcinogen because the body's automatic process is to pull it so it doesn't settle in the cells. The body has its own cycle of inflaming and uninflaming. It has to. We live on a planet controlled by humans. Humans screw up everything. We kill nature. We're killing ourselves. We no longer eat real food. We don't drink clean water. And if we do drink clean water, we're showering in fluoride. And you're telling me that in this human state that we live, that the body is not so powerful? Listen, if the body wasn't as powerful as I say it is, most of us wouldn't live past 3 years old, right? But the body is amazing. In its function, it can fight and fight and fight until it can't. And when it can't, it will signal you. But instead of taking that signal and knowing that all you have to do is move the water, y'all run to a doctor who doesn't have the answer, and you allow him to guess while he shuts down your lymph function even more. So when I'm saying use your logic and use your own spiritual sense, use the energy that we were given. The reason we even have this skin on the outside is because that's how the body signals us. That's how it signals us. We're going to itch. We're going to break out. We're going to dry out. We're going to turn a different color. We're going to have a pain. We're going to have something. But that's the point. The minute you go and stick a toxic narcotic or chemical on top of your signaling capabilities, you are causing yourself extreme harm because your life now becomes a fight of a vulnerable lymph system that can never get better. That's all I'm saying. So what I want you to do is get into this state, into this natural state, like the state. So if you look outside, right? Let's say this. We love going to the Caribbean, right? Most of us do. Why? Because it's ultimate nature. You get clean sun, you get salt from the ocean, you walk barefoot outside, you eat food from trees, you don't have this concrete freaking jungle that comes through toxic. Listen, they're telling y'all that the UV rays of the sun are toxic to you. No, they're not. UV rays are part of what heal the frequency in the body, their frequency, their vibration. What is killing us is the atmosphere that they spray chemical after chemical after chemical that is heated up by the UV rays, which is part of the reason they're trying to spray and block the sun now. But we have to use logic. We are electromagnetic frequency on the inside, but they got y'all thinking EMF is some horrible thing. We are EMF. It's EMF radiation that is killing our energy. What you have in those AirPods that some of y'all don't take out of your face is EMF radiation. The amount of frequency in those AirPods is affecting your brain on the inside, outside of your body's natural frequency. Microwaves do the same thing. But guess what? So do all of the things that man makes. Why? Because we are nanoparticulate waterways surrounding energy and frequency on the inside, outside of man's comprehension and outside of man's ability to repeat. So anything that man creates is not meant for us, which is why the original people always ask me about diet, right? Camille, what do I eat? First of all, anything that any of us eats outside of a raw diet is carcinogenic for us. Yeah. But you don't have to worry about that because the lymph system is so powerful. It's going to automatically pick up those molecules and dump them unless you are not moving your water regularly enough for the body to get rid of it. Your cells in natural functionality rarely last longer than 3 months long. So in those 3 months, if you are not allowing your lymph system to feed benefit to your cells, you are going to divide toxic. That's what they call disease. That's what they call cancer. But it is not something for you to be afraid of. It is indicative of the fact that you need to reset your lymphs. So the fact that we live in America, none of the shit we eat here is healthy. It is almost impossible for us to eat an ideal diet in America. Jesus. And now they've let crazy boy Gates buy the water system and put the mRNA in livestock. So we can't avoid carcinogens. Are you hearing me? We cannot avoid carcinogens. We cannot. It is impossible. We cannot do it. However, we have a superhuman power called the lymph system that if we just make sure every day that water is flowing, we don't have to worry about all these carcinogens because everything out there is too big molecularly to go into this nano system, right? And so I'm telling y'all now, y'all better get on it because what they're creating in their labs right now is designed to take us out. And it is designed to take us out very, very quickly. But you never have to worry about it, y'all, if your lymphs are moving. And I know that because that's how I've been living. I didn't worry about the last 3 years at all. Traveled to a gazillion countries with no mask on because I understand the process of the body. And if you put your body in a state, and I don't mean many of y'all are thinking about, well, Camille, how long do I have to do this? How long do I have to detox? Y'all, you can't do a detox. You have to live a detox. You do a detox for 30 days, right? You know now, especially now, that detox is doing nothing for you, right? Because you go outside and breathe the chemtrails that they spray every morning, or you shower in the fluoride in the morning. So when I say you can't do a detox, a 30-day detox ain't gonna do nothing except maybe detox what you ate the last 2 days. You have to live a lymphatically detox life in order to function in this country, right? In order to function in this country, particularly, or move the hell out of here like we're gonna do. Your focus cannot be on the TV and the fact that they say that you need this medication and that medication. They're not medications, y'all. They're narcotics that have to be controlled by the DEA, who I would think is supposed to control real drugs. but they control the drugs that actually kill you that are prescribed for you. So in order to avoid that whole side of the world, your focus every single day needs to be on feeding your lymph water. And I'm not saying that to say, oh my God, you can never drink alcohol, or you can never have carbs, or you can never have this. That's stupid. Restricted diets are dumb because the brain has a pleasure center. Sometimes you're going to want things that aren't good for you. Yeah. But if your body is balanced and moving, you don't have to worry about that, y'all. You do not have to worry about it. It doesn't even come into your sphere if your constant focus is, because you know me, I like to socially drink. It's 2 cocktails in for me if I'm going out to dinner. However, if I do that, guess what I've already put into place? Every single day, I never miss my supplements or whatever I'm doing exercise wise or my water. Everything is always concentrated on, okay, I put this in that is molecularly large that is going to stagnate me. So, what did I do to keep that moving, even in spite of the things that I actually do that are not beneficial? If the good outweighs the bad and allows your lymphs to move like they should, you do not have to worry about disease. That is a promise. You do not have to worry about it if your natural function from a creator greater than man, if you simply put that creation in order, and Jesus, man gave you a definition that defines that and says it. If the body is in order, if it's in its natural structure, there is no disease. The body is disease free. I mean, it's out there. The information is literally out there, right? Literally out there. We just need to look into it, make it make sense, because if it doesn't make sense, y'all, it's feeding chaos to the body. If things are conflicting for the brain, they are going to feed chaos to the body, right? Laura Mae Mayweather, thank you. You as well, love. We have to use logic. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. We just have to connect the dots. If the dots don't connect to the brain, then confusion is sent to the body. Confusion takes the body out of order. And we just read that the body out of order is disease. So I simply need y'all to take your power back and understand the function of your body outside of humanity, like outside of man. There isn't something that another human, including me, can tell you that you didn't know first and you didn't see or experience first. It's impossible. I can never help any of my clients if I don't sit down with you and have a conversation about your life. And you know who gives me the information? You do. So based on what you give me allows me to help your body reset itself and heal you. I don't do anything to you. I simply listen and then allow my frequency to affect your frequency. That's all. That's what healing is. Healing always comes from the inside. There is nothing that man can do to heal a body ever. No man or woman on this planet can heal you. Period. You're the only one, because your functionality is inside of your body. It's inside of your body, sealed inside skin. So you have to use your skin for sensation and signals to figure out what is happening in the body. But if you understand that every single thing that you feel is lymphatic stagnation, and all you have to do is know how to reset the lymph water, why are you afraid of disease? Like, why? Growing up, we were never afraid of like diseases. First of all, they didn't have as many as they do now. They just keep renaming issues, different stuff. But if you understand we got this power, then you simply connect to your power. Many of y'all have voluntarily disconnected from your power because you're much more comfortable being scared than you are comfortable gaining knowledge. And that's a deadly place to be. Chit Chat Radio. I will see y'all next week. Jump on IG real quick if you want to ask any questions. And again, like always, we'll see y'all at 7:30 next Wednesday. Thanks.